So elections to the post of the Congress president is now over. The election process is over. The voting is over and the counting is going to take place in a few days from now. But apart from being the former finance minister, there is another achievement that we would like to talk about here as we introduce Mr. P Chidambaram. You were the first voter today.
I believe so. I was there at 9:45, and when the voting opened at 10 o'clock, the election authority said you can vote. We were three of us there, so I voted first.
What does this mean, this whole process mean, Mr. Chidambaram?
See, this process, according to me, means that we are opening up the party to new people. I'm not so concerned about the voting for the Congress president, but eventually I think this will percolate down to voting for the working committee, voting for the PCC president, and voting for the DCC president and the bloc president. I think if this percolates down to voting at the lowest unit, namely the bloc Congress committee, that will open up the party to a large number of new people to join the party.
Now, there is one criticism that often comes the way of the Congress party, and that is you carry out whatever exercise of inner party democracy, elections. Ultimately, the decision is going to rest at the doorstep of 10 Janpath or the Gandhi family.
No, this is a stock criticism. The Gandhis have made it clear that they have no official candidate and anybody can contest. Let's assume that this first election, the Gandhis will still have a great degree of influence in the running of the party at the national level. But when it percolates down, are you suggesting that the Gandhis or whoever of the Gandhi family will have an influence over the bloc committee decision or the district committee decision? So I'm looking at it from a longer term. This is the beginning. And I hope that the new Congress president will ensure that all future committees are constituted through elections.
Mr. Chidambaram, how does this process help, say, a party as old as the Congress party? Because we see that no other party has held elections for the post of the president. Even the Congress party is holding it after 22 years, more than 2 decades.
No other party will, because the way of functioning political parties in this country is to forge consensus. We've had, according to some report, 6 elections in the last several decades. I think the most famous one was between Pattabi Sitaramaiah and Subhash Chandra Bose. Now, therefore, it has captured the imagination of the media, of the people, that the Congress party is holding an election. But no other party can utter a word of criticism against the Congress party because no other party holds an election. Therefore, we have made a beginning. I'm not saying this is perfect. Nobody says this is perfect. But this is a good beginning and this will percolate, I hope.
Now, Mr. Chidambaram, in the case of these two candidates, both very able, they both congratulated one another also this morning. But again, there is an allegation that one person is more of a Sarkari candidate with the backing of the top leadership, and the other is doing his own thing to be a contender.
See, we are not in Sarkar, so why do you call us?
No, Sarkari in the sense with the backing and the blessing of the leadership.
That is imputed. That is suggested. I won't comment on that. But clearly, the overwhelming majority of the top leaders of the party at the national level and the state level did support Mr. Kharge. I think Mr. Tharoor is aware of that. Yet, I congratulate him for not withdrawing his candidature and contesting and seeing it through until the last vote.
Now, Mr. Chidambaram, you see, let's say, for instance, one of these people, I don't know the result, but come counting day, one person is elected the new Congress president. Do you think that the people in the party and all those who seek a decision would treat the decision of the Congress president as final, Or will they again look at the Gandhis to be, that sort of a supreme court in their life, that some decision can be taken by someone, but the supreme leader's decision will be final?
See, this is again assuming that there are only major cataclysmic decisions to be taken. There are a number of routine decisions have to be taken. For example, people have completed 3 years or 5 years in a post. A decision has to be taken whether the block committee president or the district committee president will be replaced. I have pending requests. There are disciplinary actions which are pending against people who voted or worked against the official candidate in the last parliament election and the last assembly election. Those decisions are held up today because there is no one sitting in the office and looking at it in an administrative sense. So I think whoever wins, I know who will win, but be that as it may. Whoever wins, I hope that 90-95% of the administrative managerial decisions will all be taken in time under the authority of the Congress president. Yes, of course, the major decisions would have to involve other leaders, the Congress Working Committee, if there is a parliamentary board, the Congress Parliamentary Board, and in which the Gandhis will surely be represented. How can you imagine that the Gandhis post today will vanish from the Congress Working Committee or the Parliamentary Board if one is constituted? The Gandhis will be there, and I think that is the right thing to do. The Gandhis will have a view, and I think the new Congress president must take into account their views.
But Mr. Chidambaram, see, one thing is for them to have a view, and the other is to be to exert that view and be exacting about it.
This is a suspicion. This is a suspicion. You are suspecting the word of the Gandhis. I don't. I accept it at face value. They said, whoever is the Congress president, we are willing to work with him.
And you are pretty sure it's not going to be the other way around, that whoever is the Congress president will have to work with the Gandhis.
He has to work with the Gandhis. He has to work with the state leaders. See, for example, let me tell you. Let me give you an example. Suppose he's taking a decision on Karnataka. Can he ignore the views of Siddaramaiah ji and D.K. Shivakumar ji? He can't. If you're taking a decision about Madhya Pradesh, whether they are in the working committee or parliamentary board, can you ignore the views of Digvijay Singh ji and Kamal Nath ji? So I think you have to treat the matter as a major change that has happened after, as you said, 22 years. But it's a welcome change, and I'm sure the new Congress president will learn to work with everybody, and everybody else will learn to work with him.
How many times have you voted in this internal democratic process?
You see, I voted when Indira Gandhi was challenged way back. But in the next two elections, you remember, Mr. Moopanar had formed his own TMC.
Correct.
So between 1996...
Tamil Manila Congress.
Manila Congress. Between 1996 and I think 2001 or 2, there were two elections. So I didn't vote there, but although we called ourselves Tamil Manila Congress, nobody considered ourselves as a rebel outfit. We were rebelling only against Mr. Narasimha Rao. So I was watching it closely. But I have voted in the election which Indira Gandhi contested, and somebody contested against her.
Mr. Chidambaram, what will be the biggest challenge for the new Congress president?
Oh, there are many, many challenges. See, you'll have to get your organization fighting fit, battle ready. The battle is around the corner in Gujarat, then Himachal. They are only 2-3 months away. And then you will have Karnataka, which is a major state. So I think there are other states going into elections next year. But more than anything else, getting the party battle ready is one thing, but getting all the units ready. See, I have openly said in the working committee, elsewhere, I've said, unless we have booth committees, and there are something like, we'll have to have 545 into 1680 or so. We'll have something like 8-9 lakh booths. We'll have to have a booth committee. And then the block committee, the district committee, and the Pradesh Congress committee. And they must be held accountable. You see, it's not enough to appoint somebody. The power of appointment carries with it the power of removal. Therefore, you must exercise not only the power of appointment, you must also exercise the power of removing somebody who has not performed.
But Mr. Chidambaram, the Congress party, does not have very many months left to carry out a mammoth exercise like this.
No, it's
so
possible.
Do you feel this process should have happened earlier?
Agree. Everything should have happened yesterday, day before. But we are today. So we can't look back now. We'll have to see what can be done tomorrow, day after, etc.
So what you're proposing can be done, you feel, in the next 18,
it
19
certainly
months?
Can be done in 15 months. See, it's a parallel exercise. It's not sequential. You don't do one state and go to another state. You do it parallelly. There are knit organizations in some states. Kerala, for example, Karnataka, to some extent in Gujarat and Maharashtra, there are functioning bodies. In Madhya Pradesh also, I believe there is a reasonably effective body. Himachal, there is a reasonably effective body. But there are some states we have a virtual blank. Odisha, West Bengal, Bihar, virtual blank.
Even Tamil Nadu.
Tamil Nadu, South Tamil Nadu is okay. It's the central and North Tamil Nadu, which is very weak. Therefore, we have to get cracking. It can be done. There are people who are willing to work, willing to devote their time, and you appoint teams, and then the Congress president must monitor those teams and delegate power to the teams and authorize them to go around. And I think it can be done in 6 months.
You think Mr. Kharge can do this at the age of 80?
He should. If he has offered to come forward and become the Congress president, he should do it. And there's no reason to believe that he will not do it. He said, I am an organization man and I've worked with the organization. So he should do it. When he consults us, those of us who are consulted, will certainly put our points of view. I will say, if I have an opportunity, I will certainly say this is the first task. Get your party units ready and deploy teams. Deploy teams and let the teams camp in the states for 3 to 6 months and get it done.
So you feel the political fight against the BJP is secondary, fixing the organization is primary?
The political fight is going on. The Bharat Jodo Yatra is a political fight. Press conferences are political fight. The Mengai rally was a political fight. The political fights will go on. In Parliament, they will have a political fight. The political fight, the temperature of the political fight can be raised very quickly by more rallies, more press conferences, etc. But the basic, the nuts and bolts of the organization must be fixed. Without that, this political fight will take us forward. It will not take us to the polling station.
Okay, and speaking of political fight, my final question, you must have heard the comment of the finance minister where she says that it's not the rupee falling, actually it's the dollar strengthening.
Yeah.
As a former finance minister, what do you make of this statement?
Yeah, if she contests an election and if, God forbid, if she loses, I expect her to say, I did not lose, my opponent won. What kind of a statement is this? And therefore, I think it's best to leave it there. It was a thoughtless statement. Somebody may have told her it's a clever statement. It's hardly anything but clever.
Because when we have spoken to the government, they say that you compare the strengthening of the dollar against other currencies, India has not fallen as much.
You don't. You don't do that. If my per capita is the same as your per capita, if my household saving is same as your household savings, if my GDP is as big as your GDP, then surely you can compare my currency with your currency. But if all other things are not comparable and there's a huge difference, what is the point of saying my currency is fallen less than your currency. It all depends upon the stage of development of the country. And India's stage is pretty low. We may be the 5th largest economy because of our population. Even if our per capita is low, the GDP will be high. But we are poor. And there is hunger. There is malnutrition. There are huge deficiencies in health and education. So you have to be modest about it. You have to be humble about it. And not say, well, my currency has fallen lower than your currency. Your currency has fallen, period. Now tell us how you will stabilize your currency.
All right. Mr. Chidambaram, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.